Hello. Welcome to the Kubernetes SIG K8s-Infra meeting. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Please keep in mind that this meeting is being recorded, that the recording will be published on YouTube. Also, this meeting is being covered under the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, which boils down to be excellent to each other. Uh, for the first thing, Siripan shared the meeting agenda link. I will share it again if someone joined. After that, please leave your name in the attendees list. And do we have anyone who can take notes today? Okay, we'll figure something out.
I can take the notes.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get started. Do we have any new members who would like to say hi and introduce themselves?
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Nuruddin Kamilu. It's my first time of joining this meeting, and I think the first time I also heard about this group also was during KubeCon in North Atlanta. So it's nice to meet you all, and joining here just to also understand how things works here, and how best I can also contribute.
Welcome, nice to see you here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nathaniel. It's also my first time here. I heard about this work group because I'm trying to start out in open source, and I'm also very interested in infrastructure, systems, and observability. So I just decided to join to, to learn and learn how I can contribute.
Welcome, it's really nice to see all of you here, especially today. If you have any questions or need any pointers, anything, you can always reach out to us in CK8s-Infra Slack channel on Kubernetes Slack, and we will be glad to help. Do we have maybe anyone else who would like to say hi?
Yes, hi, I'm Dhanisha Farte. This is my first time to joining SIG infra meeting. I'm just getting started with the infrastructure section. I do have an SRE experience, and yeah, I would like to learn more and contribute as much as I can. Mhm.
Welcome. Is there anyone else? Okay, I will take that as a no to everyone. Thank you for being interested to contribute to our SIG, and thank you for joining. And I really hope to see you all around. And if you would like to say hi at any other time, you can always drop to our Slack channel and say hi there as well. Let's get started with the other topics that we have billing review. To be fair, I think the easiest way is to go through. Oh, sorry. Did anyone want to say something?
I can get the billing dashboards up so we can see what's going on.
Okay, that would be great. We also have a message from Mario from yesterday.
Yeah, I saw his message. That's probably a good starting point. Things are looking good. There are a few expected anomalies. One being the Google Cloud spend, it's unusually high for the end of the year, for the month, sorry. And that's expected because we want to use about $1 million that we're going to lose in like some 27 odd days. Other than that, the other clouds, the spend looks nominal. Um, there's some work to be done in the DigitalOcean account. There's some automation that should be running that it's not running.
Yeah, DigitalOcean is probably the biggest issue that we have. I'm not sure if anyone is working on that one, but we
Would
should look into
say
that.
let's get to the bottom of the jobs that are causing spikes and reduce their frequencies, um, and start from there.
Okay.
Yeah, straight up, just like pause those jobs for some time, ask their owners to get in touch with us. They work at DO, great. They should fix it. If they don't, and they've been around for some time in the Kubernetes project, we can give them access to the account directly and build the tooling that we need them to put in place.
We
Yeah.
got access to the DO account in the end because I remember that they only gave us a token in the beginning.
I believe Mario has access to it, or should.
Yeah, Mario does have access to it. I will speak with him tomorrow. I think he should be around and see if he can also get access to that account because I'm
Let's
pretty
put
sure
one
that I
password
don't have
first.
at least. Sorry?
I'm just gonna put one password here for a second. See if the account is present there. Okay. That account does not, our one pass vault does not have a DigitalOcean account.
Yeah.
So Mario needs to go and put it in there.
No. It's not really a count, it's a team. And basically everyone needs to get added by their DigitalOcean account.
No. So what we do is we have a bot user that we create an account for, right? So
Okay, we can do
yeah,
that as well.
so a user would be created with the email SIG K8s-Infra-leads@kubernetes.io with elevated privileges. We would store its password and its MFA token in one password. And then we would create accounts for people that need to work on it. So like
Okay.
if you open our vault, you can actually see like the Zoom account, the Datadog account, and a few other
Yeah.
accounts done like that. Yeah.
Then I will poke Mario about that, and then we can see what's actually that account and try to tune it down. I know that Mario also wanted to talk to DigitalOcean on KubeCon. I'm not sure that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will check that out. Okay, do we have anything else to discuss about billing?
No, not really. If anyone's interested, I'm gonna put a link in the chat that you could look at things. Um, Let me pull the public link. Here we go. All right, it's in the chat. So yeah, so that's public data.lake. It will have our billing usage in there. You can see the dashboards that we've set up.
Yeah, it works.
I think that's it from me on the billing part.
Yeah, I think that's it as well. Then we will follow up about Dio. I already pinged Mario. I will follow up with him. And okay, let's see. We didn't have any action items from the last time, it seems. Do we have any action items from KubeCon by any chance?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So I'm working on expanding the AWS and GCP regions that we serve images from. The AWS piece is the easiest to implement, i.e., create the new buckets and create the replication rules and backfill them, right? You run a one-off backfill operation using data sync, the managed product from AWS, and you activate the replication rules. So from the time we create it, the new images that get replicated to all the buckets. The intention is to cover every AWS region, including the opt-in ones. So I managed to configure the account correctly. This afternoon, I created the buckets. There's 3 regions I'm having issues with. One of them because somebody created a bucket for it with the name that we want in a different account. Need to figure out which one that is. I'm having issues with 2 opt-in regions, so I need to get to the bottom of that. And then yeah, I need to create the data sync rules, and then we're good to go. The images are the artifact registry ones are a little bit trickier and require a conversation with SIG release. We need to change our promoter manifests and arrange our replication tooling in Google Cloud, which I'm going to work on hopefully I think there's one more meeting before the end of the year, next week. So we'll figure it out there.
Okay, sounds good. Do you know by the chance how many regions do we need to add for GCR?
GCR, I believe it's 44 regions.
44 new regions or in total?
No, in total. So we have 22 today, so we got to double it. Just a bit of a doubling.
Mm. I am mainly concerned about the image promotion time.
Oh, no. So the new process is SIG release will push to one registry, and within an hour, we will replicate all images to all the Google regions.
Okay, do we have that already implemented? I didn't see.
We have no, so that has not been implemented. As in, we have a job that does it. If you recall, we have a job that populates the registries from another registry. So that same job is going to be used for that purpose. Um, Ben had some other suggestions, so I need to get to the bottom of it. But at a high level, that's the design. You will push to one registry.
Okay.
That will take way less than what it takes today. And on an hourly basis or on an event-driven basis, we will then fan out the new image to all the regions that we are serving to end users from.
Okay.
And yeah, when you write your email saying, "Hey, we released a new version of Kubernetes," in that time, the release, the replication would have finished, so it'll be fine.
Okay, yeah, I see. Then we can see a sign about that if needed and discuss next week on the meeting.
Yeah.
Do we have any other action items or do we have any questions for Mohammed about this? Okay, I will take that as a no. Then I guess we can go to the open discussion part of the agenda. And we do have one item there. It is about the monitoring stack. So I will also share the link in the chat. Uh, I can try to do a quick TLDR and folks can interrupt me or add stuff or whatsoever. Basically, we want to build monitoring for our infrastructure, for our CI clusters, eventually other utility clusters that we have. We want to have something like a single pane of glass where we're going to have all metrics and then we are eventually going to set up alerting and the logic solution and stuff like that so we can eventually even enable public access so other folks can help with things if it turns out to work and that we have a good solution that we can monitor our stuff because that's not really the case right now. This has been underlying issue for a long time as far as I can tell and we have never solved it successfully. There have been multiple ideas about how we can approach that, and one idea was that we use, for example, Datadog, like we do for billing, or that we use some open source solution or stack that's going to enable us to do that. Some idea, and I don't want to call it consensus, but some idea was that we use the open source stack because that way we can find easier folks who are experienced with this and who can help and who can work with this rather than using Datadog, which is a bit, let's say it's a provider, commercial enterprise provider. We are depending on them sponsoring us, and you need to know their stack if you want to do things well. So open source way might be better, but unless there are like strong opinions,
Yeah, I
we
have a
can.
few. Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
so I was one of the first people involved in this Datadog's shenanigans along with Arno. Datadog right now is being deployed to most of our clusters. Unfortunately, it doesn't run on the IBM clusters because their architecture is not supported. But for the ones that it does run on, we get a lot of insights out of it. So we get metrics, logs, security tooling, and we use Datadog for other things that are not infrastructure monitoring, right? The challenge we have with the open source tooling is, hey, you need to do effectively multi-cluster logging, observability, and telemetry at scale. You're talking clusters which have an aggregate node count of 500 to 1,000 potentially. So yeah, it's very large, very high throughput, and it's got to be very performant. And you would need somebody, whoever builds this thing has to maintain it, right? So ideally, we would want like I do something like that, similar to my day job, but it's like the work of a team, not one person. But yeah, the open source tooling has been deployed, but we have a problem with it. Marco did one, and it's great for what it does. The only problem is there's no retention for metrics beyond a week, I believe, or the life cycle of the PVC that's attached on. And it's a single cluster at a time. So if you need the observability from like two, three, for like six clusters and more, you'd have to deploy that in like six different times. So right now we have two monitoring identical stacks that are deployed with like two different host names. So you go to each one, see what's up with it, right? And it's just metrics, no logging, no tracing. And it is pretty, I wouldn't say intense to run, but it does require updates, right? So Grafana needs to be updated all the time, Prometheus, you got to keep up with it. We have auto Kubernetes bumping in all our clusters. So whatever Google says move on, we'll move on, right? So the tooling will eventually degrade over time if we don't keep up to date with it. So I'm personally not in favor of that approach, but it depends on who wants to deliver this, by the way. So as a group, we'll see who wants to work on this and what the approaches are.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something to that, and as you already said, it is like a pretty big complex task that it's also like halfway delivered. As Mohammed said, we have it like a deployment for GKE, we had a deployment for EKS, and we have like one main monitoring that pro that it's supposed to be like for like aggregating everything that's like actually broken. So, I mean, one of the questions will be like, do we want to pursue like at all the open source stack? I'm in favor of that. And my second question will be like, what will be like the proper way to actually handle and manage this work? Because I have seen on the issue that there's like some people that's interested in contributing, but since there's not like a clear direction, roadmap, slash whatever, it's been like a messy and hard to do the first step. So yeah.
Short answer is the work by itself requires you to have elevated privileges into our infrastructure, right? There's no getting around that. So it's a little bit hard for new maintainers to jump straight on it and work on it, or new contributors to work on it. However, that being said, though, we are exploring a few things that would allow you to have read-only access to parts of the infrastructure that will help you greatly with the project for that specific project. For example, we use Argo CD to deploy, right? We could make it so that specific Argo CD applications are open to anyone to look at, well, open to named individuals who are trying to work on us. One of the things we did this year was enable self-service infrastructure changes where you can, for example, the Kubernetes manifests for the monitoring stack, they're all in GitHub, by the way. You can change it. We'll look at it. If we like it, we'll just say approve, and then the PR gets merged and deployed immediately, right? It doesn't require me to open a computer and get special privileges and deploy it for you, so you can get a quick feedback loop. So we are exploring a few things that will allow new contributors to basically modify a small number of files and get access to some UIs that allow you to see specific resources related to that project. But yeah, but we do need to settle the conversation of, do we do open source or do we do Datadog? The open source approach has been there for a number of years and it works, but it doesn't scale. A vendor stepped in and said, hey, oh, by the way, we have a very popular open source program that like a lot of large places use. So Python, for example, uses it, and others. And their tooling is really easy to deploy, and we feel comfortable giving new contributors access to Datadog directly, right? Uh, so as a SIG, we will tell the community what our chosen approach forward is, and then you implement it. So
I
yeah.
mean, I would like to add one thing.
Okay.
If we get into, because I'm right now reading the issue again and seeing, for example, Honeycomb being mentioned, like if we get to the point that we need, okay, open source doesn't scale, we need to throw in some enterprise solution that's going to help us with that, then I would say Datadog it is. Like we have some sponsorship from them. And in that case, it would be the best way than try to get, I don't know, second or third provider who is going to support us. It doesn't make sense.
The Marco, one thing, the provider's not been changed. We have one provider, we're not looking to get another one. The question is, do we as a community say, hey, new contributor, go and spend time deploying, for example, the Grafana LGTM stack in our cluster somewhere, right? That's an exercise we can do. It's one I personally did at my current place of employment. It works for what I'm doing. Obviously, the scale I'm working on is smaller than the Kubernetes scale. But for what I need it does it very well, right? And there is a fair bit of engineering work required to get it going. But once it's there, it will last several months without requiring some updates and tweaks. We pay for bucket storage and the compute that the LGDTM stack runs on, but that's relatively inexpensive to the cost of our infrastructure.
Yeah.
Quick note. You're saying like no one has to touch it for 2 months. I would say that in open source infra, that's quite frequent.
Yeah, that's the other concern I have, right? So you do have to update it, keep an eye on it all the time, and like if it breaks, you have to step in and fix it, right? When an enterprise vendor is involved, that's none of your concern really. You just install it and then you send everything to them, and they deal with the availability of the service.
In my experience is that you install an agent and beyond that agent, you're kind of good, right?
Yeah, that's what we do today.
So from that point of view, it's more like zero maintenance as opposed to the other approach. And we are not the only ones interested in that information, right?
Yeah.
Like cost, or other aggregated stuff might be required by other people. And I think uptime is very important. So that's why I would kind of lean towards the Datadog version, as it's it's easy to maintain. But yeah, feel free to contradict. I don't
I
mind.
mean, that's true. I mean, that's the way it is. The other problem with Datadog is that building all the dashboards and stuff that we need, right? Because then you need to have experience with Datadog platform. You need to learn that platform, and then you will have not a lot of people who are going to be able to do that. The question that comes up there is, what do we need? Like, it would be nice to have a list of things. Okay, we need that, that, and that, and then we take a look, at least from some POC standpoint, or I don't know, just theoretically, how complicated it would be to do it in Datadog. If we
Short
end
answer is
up
we already
that
have to
it
build
is,
dashboard for other things. So like it's the same effort.
I mean, that would be great. But let's see, I think that would be the great step forward, like try to collect what do we actually want to do. And then we can decide, okay, if it turns out it is easy with Datadog, then we just choose Datadog.
Not sure, but shouldn't they have something like predefined for Kubernetes, at least the basics, not to, build from scratch?
Oh, they have a lot of things, but we need custom dashboards, and they're primarily for visualizing the state of proud, right?
Yeah.
So we need to ingest Prometheus metrics, which Datadog supports, and then we need to rebuild the Grafana dashboards that we have in code somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And we need to decide like how do we want to handle things like logs, and I'm not sure if there's anything else.
In which sense?
Like, do we want to store logs for the most important components somewhere on Datadog if they support that?
They do. I worked with Datadog some years ago. They have good logging,
Yeah.
log aggregation. It's just a
Uh,
matter of how much budget we have.
that's exactly what I wanted to
My
ask. But
understanding it was plenty, and we do retain logs for some time.
if like you have a hand up, do you want to go ahead?
Sorry, can you say that again?
There's a hand up. So
Thank you, Marco. So I've worked previously with Prometheus and Grafana. I do agree, Hamid, with your assessment that it requires initial setup cost as well as ongoing, as you want to make sure that both Prometheus and Grafana and the relevant requirements are kept up to date. So that's ownership cost. And currently, for the past couple of years, I've been using Datadog as well. Not for the scale of Kubernetes, but considerable scale. And I agree, Marco, that there's some learning curve. But as was stated, it comes out of the box with a lot of pre-created dashboards. You could create dashboards as a code. Essentially, there's a Terraform provider for Datadog, and you could use that to create dashboards and then replicate them across environments or across regions if you need to have that use case. So that's something that we could do. And the convergence or not the convergence as much as the ability to take Prometheus metrics and convert them to the Datadog migrated or imported metrics is so it's relatively a straightforward effort. Thank you.
thank you for the feedback. Then I would say And let's collect the use cases that we want to do and what do we need in the whatever monitoring solution we choose. And then we first evaluate Datadog, see if it is going to work, and we give it a try.
Arno?
Hey, so I'm sorry for being late. I have a question. Why do we compare Datadog and other and something else? Why not have both?
We can do that actually. So the engineer, the bird, we can have the Datadog agent. We need it for things that are not related to logging or metrics. Uh, in addition to Prometheus or the Grafana Alloy agent, for example, and then use the open source stack and see how it evolves throughout 2026. We could, for example, say, hey, let's get someone to build it, whoever's willing to build it, and we see how well we do with its maintenance throughout 2026. And hopefully, in a year's time, we can see how it played out. Yeah, that works.
Okay, so
What do you think?
basically having a different monitoring stack to just collect metrics should be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Is that okay for you, Jose? I saw in the call, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that makes sense. I don't know if you guys saw in the issue, there's like a document I was like trying to see how we can drop
Oh, okay.
in the
So next steps is since
yeah.
we are gonna run the experiment, the open source experiment, and we'll reassess in a year's time, I can give you the spec sheet of how we want it deployed, host names, the tooling involved, and the
Why
details.
not just leave him? Why not just leave it? Come with basically a way to do that, and we guide him instead of enforce something that basically might be a burden for someone to try to build that.
I mean,
The entire
there's
idea
like
of doing this.
there's like two ecosystems that you'd wanted to use this. I don't think there's that options available.
What do you mean?
So if you want to do multi-cluster Kubernetes observability, the only tools in town that you'd probably want to use are the Grafana stack. So Grafana, Tempo, Loki, and Mimir. And it's either that or you use the Prometheus operator with Thanos. Those are like the two real tools that you're going to consider for that exercise. I don't think there's a third tool in there.
You can also consider Victoria Matrix that basically do the same thing.
Is that self-hosted?
Yeah, you can basically deploy that on the Trace cluster. I think tooling here doesn't really matter. It's more like basically be able to like consolidate the metric we have currently between two dashboards. I think that's what matter right now.
Yeah, that's the intention. So yeah.
Okay, so we don't even basically, if we basically consider an experiment, I don't even basically need to talk about channels for the three first months. And just basically get those metrics into the same dashboard and see what's happening. And later talk about long-term storage and extend that to say, okay, can we store the metric for like a year? Mario, you have your hand raised. Sorry.
Yeah, but I just basically Marco pinged me. I'm sorry. Today is the birthday of my wife, and I just wanted to jump in. There were questions regarding DigitalOcean, so please finish this discussion first, and then we can quickly go over the DigitalOcean thing.
I mean, I think we have idea. I would still say we figure out what do we exactly want to do, what do we need of data, and then we try the open source experiment, see how it goes, and then decide basically.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any questions about that topic? Okay. The DigitalOcean topic. So basically, what do we need to figure out? So what we discussed is that we have two ideas. One idea is that we try to tune down the jobs that are actually using DigitalOcean and potentially causing this spike in the credit usage. That's one thing. Other thing is that we try to build something to clean up that account and that we clean up the stuff that's not being used. For that, we need access that we don't have access at all. Ideally would be that we create some account on K8s-Infra leads and that it gets to the DigitalOcean account, but we need someone to do that for us.
So I received access to the DigitalOcean account I had in the beginning. I only had billing access. After we had the spike in February, March, I got full access. So I have admin access. We can basically add an account via SHA. Some person who used the DigitalOcean account dropped out of the account. So basically they self-remove themselves from the account. We are out of budget currently, so we don't have any credits in DigitalOcean. I basically highlighted this in the beginning of August that we will run out of credit in the chat and also in towards CNCF. CNCF is working on getting more funds in to this. No, you have your hand up.
There are projects that running against the DigitalOcean account, right?
Yes.
Okay, can we reduce the frequency of those tests or maybe disable them? Because if you're out of budget, I don't see really the value of still running them.
I mean, I don't mind. The problem is the last time I pinged the person in this who basically where the script that is creating those machines, they were not aware that this is still being used. So I'm happy that if we just turn them down. I mean, CNCF will ask for new budget anyway because next year there needs to be the extension. From what I saw is that I think DigitalOcean increased prices, so that's also a reason why we ran out of budget. And I cleaned up a lot of stuff, but we still I basically cleaned up every unused disk, unused droplet, unused network interface, unused backup that was in the account. And after KubeCon, I now looked again into it, and there are now again new artifacts in it, which means that the cleanup is definitely not working. Whatever the cleanup does, or where it is located, because I also don't know where it is located, it is not working. Marco.
Did you have a chance to talk to DigitalOcean folks at KubeCon?
No, because I tried. I talked with Ihor, and Ihor and me went to the DigitalOcean staff, and the people at the DigitalOcean booth who were at KubeCon were not the responsible people. But we figured out that the main contact person who ghosted us for some time is still the same person.
Was
So
he at
we are now.
KubeCon? This person that you're talking about?
No, he was not at KubeCon.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I think we should just reduce the frequency of those jobs or disable them because we're out of budget. There's no point to have them running until we figure out the situation. I don't know if we are basically have the capacity to do that. But honestly, I don't really see the value on basically deal with this until we get credits.
Yeah.
I can try to reach out to DigitalOcean, but that's going to be a long shot. We close to end of the year, so it's like
We are in parallel reaching out to DigitalOcean. So
Okay.
CNCF is already so he was trying to get the person, and I also talked, or not talked, but we have an email thread going on with Chris to figure this out. Oh.
Okay.
Also, if we can figure out who is actually working on the stuff that is getting deployed to DigitalOcean, this would be a huge benefit. Because for Azure, as soon as I figured out who is the responsible person, we more than half the spend in Azure.
Well, I would assume we have the cluster API provided DigitalOcean and we have the KOps. I'm not sure we have any other usage, to be honest. So it's either one of those two. We can try reaching out to them and see if they still actively work.
Yeah. But Marco, that we can also talk tomorrow and take it offline.
Yeah.
Yeah. But general budget wise, it looks good. So you saw the updated report for last month. Billing, by the way, for Fastly is repaired, but it's still 0 because they now changed their internal billing, but we now get invoices again, which is kind of nice, but also kind of pointless.
Because we are basically under the Linux Foundation donation, and we basically care about bandwidth rather than cost.
Yeah, I know, but from a reporting perspective, it would be nice to see. But I mean, that's only purely for them, more or less. So I don't mind. I just report the use bandwidth.
Yeah, I think the only thing we care is basically we don't go over 10 petabyte per month. That's the only thing we need to care. But now they can increase the cost and whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, makes sense.
How close are we to 10 petabytes?
Far away. We are currently at give me a second.
Less than 4.
We are less than 4. We are 3.9 currently.
Okay, not bad.
And the
Do we anticipate hitting 10 petabytes anytime soon?
When we I shared the graph in the SIG K8s-Infra channel where I created a graph on the growth of this year for the traffic. We doubled since January the traffic. But the growth from October onwards is not spiked anymore. I mean, we saw an increase when CVEs hit. But currently it's only a slight increase in traffic. I mean, if we would take the whole year into consideration, that would worry me, but I doubt it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't think we are going to see much increase. It has been steady for the last 2 or 3 months, I think.
And as mentioned, AWS spend went down again. GCP spend is a little bit up because of the tests. Mohammed, you went. IBM spend is down a bit, and for Azure we basically halved since the past month, which is great because this brings us in a very, very comfortable space again.
I would just say about that. Oops, sorry. For GCP, let's make sure that we set date for tuning down those jobs. Because we are going into holiday seasons, I don't know who is going to be
I will be
available
working
when.
throughout the season, and I'm gonna make that switch with some days to go before the year finishes.
Yeah, great. Okay. Any questions for Mario? Arno?
Yeah, Mario, I need you to talk to CNCF about AWS credit for next year.
Yeah,
Open the
I
conversation for next year.
I can do this. And I basically, what they probably want again to have is the report that I created for last year, where we basically the justification report, and I already started working on this.
Okay, cool.
Cool stuff.
GCP is covered, right? So I don't need to talk to anyone regarding GCP.
No, it's basically the credit already there for next year. But for
Okay.
AWS is the problem with AWS is basically credit expire by on November of next year. And we're gonna be out of budget if we are not careful next year.
Yeah. And I think next year is the year where we need to talk about the 3-year commitment ends next year for a couple of those. I think it's Google, it's AWS, and it's Oracle Cloud. So next year we need to have
it's not 3-year commitment. It's now up to each cloud provider how we negotiate with them. Right.
Okay. I see.
I know that we didn't get much out of our Oracle our Oracle Cloud budget, so that's a fun one.
So Mohammed, we use so Oracle Cloud is being used by the other CNCF projects a lot for the
Okay,
GitHub
that's
action,
good.
for GitHub action runners mainly. So basically, we spawn all of those beefy GitHub action runners. For example, Cilium spins up 64 core machines, and they are being deployed in Oracle.
It was a sure donation between the CNCF project for Oracle.
Oh, well, this is interesting. Apparently, you can get Mac instances on Oracle Cloud. That's fun.
Yeah, we also
But
have runners. Go ahead. Sorry.
I didn't know that. I just Googled it right now.
Wait, can we get them? Because last time we tried, it was not possible.
I can check. And
we have access to an Oracle account. Let me see what I can do in there.
Yeah. What is?
I think someone requested Mac instance recently.
Yeah. So I spun up an AWS account for it, and Amazon is dragging their feet. They're saying we'll give you like one instance per month. I'm like, that's not good enough. But we got one instance, so they can play around with it and get their CI going. I told them wrap it around an optional job, and you can invoke it on demand.
Yeah, let's see if we can eventually utilize Oracle there.
Yeah, that's a good story that we can talk about once we get there.
All right. Any other questions to me? Because otherwise I would fade off.
Thank you for coming.
If we don't see each other in any other meeting, enjoy happy holidays and safe transition into 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye bye.